This video will cover problems 22 through 36 on note page 611. So 610 and 611 were square roots. Now we are going to be doing cubed roots. So cubed roots is meaning times itself 3 times. So again, you have your sheet of paper that has a list of your perfect cubes. So the perfect cube, or the cubed root of 1 goes back to 1. The cubed root of 8 is 2. That's because 2 to the third, or 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. The cubed root of 27 is 3, so on and so forth. So when we do the cubed root of 8, we just looked at that and we get 2. If you want to use your calculator for these, it gets a little bit trickier. For those of you that use a calculator like mine, you would do 3. So you have to push the 3 button, and then second, and then the caret button, like the exponent button. So that's how you know that it's the cubed root. So if you do 3, second, caret, and then the 8, your calculator should give you 2. So you can do that for 23. 3, second, caret, 729 gives us 9. So the answer for 23 is just 9. Again, if you just want to use your paper, if you know it's a perfect square or perfect cube, or you look, here's 729. So we skip this column and our answer is just 9. Okay, so the cubed root of 729 takes us back to 9. If we do 24, the cubed root of 1331 is 11. Now, our list does not have negatives on it. A negative times itself 3 times will just end up with a negative. So you can ignore the negative. We know that the cubed root of 1 is 1, and then we just need to make it negative for our final answer. Again, you can type this into your calculator. Make sure you put the -1 after the cubed root sign. So if you wanted to do this one in your calculator, you would do 3, second, exponent key, -343, and it would give us -7. Or again, if you look on your little sheet of paper at 343, you move over to 7, you just have to make sure you remember to put a negative sign. 27 should give us -3 for our answer. So again, look at your paper and find 27 and go over to 3, just make it negative, or you can type it in. Now we are going to simplify our non-perfect cubes. So this is exactly what we did with the square roots. You need to find the number on your list that goes into the number you're given. So our first one is 40. So a lot of us think, oh, let's use 4. Nope, we need to make sure we are using our cubed list now. So we're looking in our third column. Okay, so you're looking in your third column. Which of these numbers go into 40? The only one that goes into 40 is 8. So we would make this 8 times 5 is 40. Again, how do you know if a number goes in? You divide it. So if you need to do 40 divided by 8 to make sure you get 5, that's fine. When I say go into, that means you divide it. So make sure you write the cubed root for each of these. Makes it a little bit harder. The cubed root of 8 is 2. Then we need to write cubed root of 5. Make sure your 3 is smaller and up in that corner. Okay, don't make sure it doesn't look like 23. Make sure you can tell there's a difference between the 2 and then the 3 for the cubed root part. All right, our next one is 500. So again, if you look at your list, you can start looking at what goes into 500. Well, 500 divided by 8 gives me a decimal. 500 divided by 27 gives me a decimal. 500 divided by 64 gives me a decimal. 500 divided by 125 gives me 4. So there is the multiplication we need to use. So this is 125 times 4, cubed root, cubed root. So the cubed root of 125 is 5, and then again, cubed root of 4 comes along. Next is 162. So again, these are going to take some practice looking at that list and just dividing until you find one of them that goes into 162. 27 is the perfect cube that goes into 162. It's 27 times 6. So cubed root, cubed root. Cube root of 27 is 3, and then cubed root of 6 comes along. When you have a negative, like in 31, the negative goes with your perfect cube. That needs to go on the outside. So the perfect cube that goes into 16 is 8 times 2. We put the negative with the 8, not with the 2. Okay? Your final answer, if you have a negative on the inside, needs to move to the outside. So we do the cubed root and the cubed root. So the cubed root of negative 8 is negative 2, and then the cubed root of 2 comes along. All right, 432. If you start and just do 8, you're going to get 8 times 54. The problem is there's another perfect cube in 54. So if you remember that trick from up above, if we divide by 2, 432 divided by 2 gives me 216. So 216 is actually one of my perfect cubes. All right, so 216 divided by 2. So cubed root around each of those. Cubed root of 216 is 6. Cube root of 2 comes along. All right, same thing here for number 3. You might think, oh, I think 8 goes into 320. Well, that's true, but there's actually more that go in. So divide it by 2. I'm going to ignore the negative for a minute. 320 divided by 2 gives me 160. So again, what that means is you are going to look at your perfect cube list. 160 would be between these two. So the first number you need to check is 125. So 320 divided by 125 gives me a decimal, so that doesn't work. So then move up. 320 divided by 64 gives me 5. So we found the one we needed. All right. So that's how you do it. You start this way and work your way back up the list. That will guarantee you find your biggest one first. So this was 64 times 5, and we're going to put the negative with the 64. Cubed root, cubed root. The cubed root of 64 is 4, so just negative 4 now. Cubed root of 5. (54) is 27 times 2. So cubed root, cubed root. Cube root of 27 is 3. Cubed root of 2. (96). This one's a little bit tricky. If we do 96 divided by 2, we get 48. So if we look on our list, the first one we would check is 27. 96 divided by 27 doesn't work. 96 divided by 8 does work. So 8 is kind of a small perfect cube, but that is our biggest one. That goes into 96. So 8 times 12. Cubed root, we get 2 cubed root of 12 for our final answer. Negative 875, again, if you want to do the trick where you divide by 2, we get 437.5. So again, what that does is tell us where to start on our list. 437.5. 343 would be the first one you would check then. So 875 divided by 343 does not give us a whole number. Divide by 216 does not work. Divide by 125 does work. So negative 875 divided by 125 gives us 7. So negative 125 for the perfect cube, and then 7. Cube root, cube root. So our final answer is negative 5 cube root of 7. So again, you're looking on your list to find which of those numbers goes into the number underneath.